Que lo que, que pasa a mi gente? Yo soy acá. No, this is Scam Likely, and today I'm not going to be running any scams. Today we're going to talk about, oh, I know you, I look good, don't I? And to all the ladies, take a shot. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Got that bling bling. Yeah, anyway, let me scratch my head so you can see these nice, beautiful cufflinks and a nice golden look good. Anyway, today we're going to talk about professionalism in the workplace. And I got some professionals in the back. I'm going to bring them up. But the main thing I want to talk about for professionalism, can men and women work together? We're going to get right to it. Let me go ahead and pull up some of these professionals. All the way from somewhere in Ohio. She worked her way all the way from scraping grease off the floor at a Waffle House. She used to sell used crack. And somehow, after she cleared her record, she became a life coach. She's doing some great things in the community and everything. Welcome, Coach K, to the platform. Coach K, how you doing today?
I'm great, Scam. Thanks for having me. Quite the introduction.
Yeah, we're going to get your record expunged. We're working on you. We got you. All the way from Delaware. He was in Delaware, but he had to evacuate because he running some pyramid scams and a couple of PPP loan scams. And then they were chasing him. He gave some of the money back as far as reparations, so the judge let him off. He moved somewhere to Northern Virginia. He got himself together, checked into rehab. We spent some money. We helped get him out. Welcome to Manic Genius. Welcome to the show.
What up? What up? What up?
What's going on? No, all jokes aside, well, the jokes will come later. But talking about professionalism, what I see is there's a lot of people, like I'm 43 years old. I've been in the workplace for a while. A lot of the fields I worked in, I was an education major in college. I was the military first, then college, education major, student teaching, substitute teaching, education and recruiting. A lot of these have a lot of women. They're women dominated. I've worked more for women than I have for men, to be honest. Won't tell you what my real profession is. Some of y'all already know what I do, or some form of what I do. I'm gonna give you the fake profession, but I worked for women, and a lot of women have got me my careers. Working with women can be sensitive. It can be different. Working with men, I honestly can too, especially nowadays. Things you can do, there's things you can't do, things you can say, things you can't, y'all know how it works. But first question, when I say men and women working together, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Coach K.
Not a big deal. It's
Not a big deal.
No.
It's just life.
Yeah.
What's the first thing that clicks in your brain? Hey, Mike, I see you in the back. Let me know when to pull you up. Manic, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you say men and women working together?
I mean, like you, Dusto, I have a long background of working with a lot of women as well from my past. But honestly, the first thing that comes to mind is diversity and inclusion, just because of, the climate.
And people in the chat, what's the first thing that comes to mind when I say men and women working together? Put it in the chat. But interesting, I was expecting something else, but it's going to come. It's coming. I know it is. But me personally, men and women working together, it is what it is. There's a man, there's a woman. You're there to do a common goal. Get your money. Have some, that's different. Eugene Steele says cooperation. Referee timeout. We got a former CEO. He used to run penny stocks out of his garage, and he also was the person who was featured when they did The Wolf of Wall Street. It was actually founded by him for some of the stuff he used to do back in the 80s and 90s. But no, another professional. Welcome to the panel, Sophisticated Jerk.
What's going on, Scam? Appreciate that.
Jerk, when I say men and women working in the workplace, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
I was watching in the back, and I liked Coach K's expression. It's like ordinary now. Nothing out the norm. Just regular day at the work office, I guess.
Okay. I'm hearing somebody else say cooperation. Cooperation. I thought somebody was going to do it and hit the button. Harassment. I just knew the word was coming. I didn't get anybody. Okay. I'm 0 for 1. Question. I'll start with Manic at the bottom. Can men and women work together?
Absolutely. I do it every day.
And be specific, or is it just that simple? Yes.
I mean, it really is that simple, but I can elaborate. I think when you have different perspectives, trying to reach a common goal, I mean, the more perspectives you have, sometimes it can be better. It can add like an element, a different angle, a different approach. So there's like a lot of positives with that. But quite frankly, I mean, when it comes to business, some people have business a mindset and, some people don't. So a lot of education on your experiences will really kind of dictate that. And has nothing to do with your gender. So like, it's really ordinary.
Fair game. And I got one more person I got to bring in from the back. I don't know who he is. Anybody ever seen this dude? Coach K, you know this dude? Anybody? You selling something there?
Other than the Allstate insurance.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you need wig insurance, they've been blowing off in the wind. It's been a lot of storms down here in Florida. The wig insurance salesperson, Jedi Mike 7. He can be reached at 888-555-WIGS. Now, welcome to the platform, young, newly married Jedi Mike. Also another movie.
Congrats.
Also, he lives in y'all's area in Northern Virginia. He's also does movie critique. So y'all can set that up. That'd be great. Guess I'll swip it around. I'm all over the place. Let's go to Jedi Mike. Men and women working in the workplace. What's the first thing that comes to your mind? Though I already spoiled it.
Yeah, I put it in the back chat. I said Title IX.
Title IX.
Only because of different working environments now becoming more inclusive and stuff like that. Then there's more areas where HR gets involved to actually kind of handle some situations and stuff like that. So, but going to your next question of saying can men and women work together in the workplace? We've done it for many, many different years. I think the only issue is really with certain work environments, especially with different companies, especially the fact that they establish a culture of efficiency, not just, things where stuff get brushed under the rug, where situations like a Title IX can happen. So it's very, very possible.
So I don't mean to interrupt. Can you explain what a Title IX is for those in the back?
So let me sure I won't get the exact article and stuff like this. But Title IX is referring to as sexual harassment or a type of emotional or physical abuse, in resort to more sexual abuse as well in the workplace. This is also used in college campuses as well, especially when dealing with issues with sexual assault or anything like that. But that's really the main issue that comes with Title IX in terms of protecting someone, man or woman, in those situations like that. So,
yeah. Translation: it's a U.S. federal law that prohibits federal funding for any sex-based or gender discrimination. So if you do any of that, you're not going to get federal funding.
Ooh.
I wonder if schools, private Catholic schools, I don't know how much funding, if they do receive any funding at all, but I wonder if that falls under that Title IX, for all girl schools, all boy schools.
That's a great question.
I think schools is Title I, if you're talking about that funding.
Mm-hmm.
Like funding for schools that are, schools in neighborhoods with low income. Is that what you're referring to?
No, high schools, because I know I've heard a lot of Title IX in terms of college, but in terms of high schools, there's private schools, but they do receive maybe some type of funding, possibly even if it's a little amount. And I wonder if, out the gate, they are a all girl, all boys school.
I think that's Title I.
It's stated that all public schools and most private schools must follow the guidelines and rules mandated by Title IX. So there are some private schools that are exempt from that, but yeah, it says all public schools and most private schools do follow guidelines pertaining to Title IX.
You're talking in regards to employment, like
Yeah.
hiring, or you're talking about education funding, or in regards to employment or hiring teachers?
No, just not employment per se, but obviously this is a greater, a broader scale Title IX. I don't want to obviously change the subject, but for the schools, because one could argue they discriminate, but I don't know how often they run into this. I mean, you don't try to go to a school that, like, I didn't try to go to an all boys school, but
You probably can now. No.
Sorry, disregard. Continue, Dustin. Sorry.
Yeah, Coach T.
Look it up though.
But that's a whole nother topic. Actually, Coach K, can men and women work together?
They can, but I do think that it's not black and white, because when I think of different industries or even the military, for example, I have my own personal beliefs on that. But if we're saying broadly, I think it can be done for sure, but it requires a lot of different things, such as being an adult. But I don't want to, jump ahead. But yeah, I think they can. But I have differing opinions when it comes to the jobs per se. Not so much if they can work together, but if they should be doing these jobs more performance-wise.
Sorry to interrupt. You mean that I believe that women should be assigned to certain roles in the workplace and men should be assigned to specific roles in the workplace?
Not necessarily assigned, but more so if they qualify.
Okay.
As a sophisticated jerk, you were military, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
Did you work with women in the military?
Yeah, so I started off in infantry. So in that lane, no, it was just all dudes and, very high testosterone. So like I can see what she's saying in that type of lane, because I mean, it's just
that one.
difficult to do co-ed, but then I transitioned to like supply and warehouse stuff like that. So yeah, it was co-ed and definitely could exist in that type of lane. But yeah, when you're talking about like infantry and the ones that's going to the field or the front line, it's definitely hard to kind of mix genders, even just the logistics when you're talking about like showering, hygiene and stuff like that. I think that's the biggest issue that you'll have when you try to commingle, I say, genders in that type of situation.
Yeah, I was combat arms. I was 13 Field Artillery. There was no women. I was only in 2 years. I just heard on the other side of the base, they were all complaining about women getting men in trouble. But I didn't work with them, so I didn't experience it. Figured maybe you did. But can men and women work together?
Yeah, absolutely. Just like Manic, in my current field, I definitely work with a lot of females, and it's just definitely no issues. We work in a professional office type setting, so I think even I don't want to jump far too ahead, but I think like a lot of women do bring a lot of like work-life balance and mentorship, where they probably have a little more patience with, I'll say, people, where I think as men, sometimes it's that tough love and I'm kind of right in your face and stuff like that. So I think they do kind of bring that level of balance to the workplace. So absolutely, they definitely could work with men well in workplace settings.
Is that balance free?
What you mean by that?
I'm gonna say it. Men working on one side, I'm gonna say it. Some positions is all men. Some positions is kind of all women. When you include men and women working together, does it come with a price? Your opinion?
I would say in our setting, because actually it's more women in our field. So I don't think it's like any off balance or it comes at a cost. So yeah, I would say no.
First person to answer. Is anything wrong with the statement that you see on the screen?
I believe women should do it.
I mean,
I would request a rephrasing possibly just to make sure that's. Yeah, go ahead, man.
That wasn't the question.
no, I get the statement, but it's very vague because I think everybody has their own perspective on what a man should do and shouldn't do. So when you leave something like a comment like that and you just keep it so vague, it's easy to answer yes or no, but everybody's going to answer from their own perspective. So unless this person can clarify like what they consider to be a man's job, then I think I can answer that question. If it's a matter of if the person is a CEO, then absolutely a woman can do, being a CEO or a capacity of leadership. But, if it's a job when it comes to like infantry, then, maybe there's some other concerns like physical requirements. I think Coach K was mentioning something like around those aspects. So,
Yeah, I think because the point that's a good point you made because Coach K, when she was talking about qualifications, I understood what she was talking about, like where now to be more in terms of actually a little more inclusive in the work environment, they'll lower the requirements or lower the qualifications to allow more people to come in, and also especially let's say if it's something that requires more physical job and they want to bring more women, they'll tend to lower that qualification for them to come in, and whether that might be good or bad, that's up for discussion. But I think again, there's some things where specifically that men we have strengths in, and women definitely have strengths in, and I feel like if the whole goal in any work environment is making sure that we're efficient in whatever we're doing to best of our ability, then we want to put those people in the roles that are able to produce that efficiency to the best of ability.
I like that.
I would even extend it into just jobs that require physical labor, from law enforcement to firefighting. I think it's a liability. Of course, I don't think we should say that they can't, that they're prohibited. But I think the standards, because I think the standards should be the same, just like they would for all men, because weed out, I'm going to be silly, the weaklings, So, and I think it's just a liability for those people, not only the people that, whose house is on fire or who is, I don't know, in a DV situation, I don't know, but it's a liability also to the officers and their colleagues, and the firefighters and their colleagues.
Yeah, I like the statements. Thank you all those in the chat. Sophisticated jerk, because I know you work in management.
Yes, sir.
You see any EEO potential claims, violations, any meetings where you got to do any counseling yet, or potential?
It's definitely some EEO complaints, but just being honest, I'll say majority of them are filed women against women. It's not against like men like you would think. They're filed, like I'll say, like the ones I seen was ageism, what was religion based. So it wasn't too much of like guys against women. It was mainly women against women that I seen like typical EEO complaints filed as of lately.
Yeah, I just mentioned that because I was a supervisor, and I went to EEO class 3 days. I also did labor relations 5 days in DC, and it was a question. You're a supervisor, and it's some heavy lifting. Hey, this weighs about 30, 40 pounds. Like, who would you ask to do it? I'm like, I'm gonna ask one of the men, or either I'm gonna do it myself. And the women in the class, oh no. How come you didn't ask the women to do it? Why you say the women can't? I'm like, I'm gonna go lift the thing, or I'm gonna ask to. No, you can't. You saying a woman can't lift it? You didn't give the opportunity. I'm like, is it that? Like, yeah, it can be that sensitive.
What about
or
height?
6 months, even still, all from a check. Everybody, they equal. give them the opportunity. I'm like, is it that serious? Yeah. Or
no,
no.
I was gonna,
Go ahead, man.
no, I was just going to say, I mean, I think sometimes we have a tendency to overcomplicate things. And, you know, if I was presented in that same situation or scenario, I'd probably just naturally go for, if I need help, the biggest and strongest looking individual there. Like, if it's Bertha, hey Bertha, can you help me get this? But I mean, in most cases, it's going to be a more athletic build, type male. So I would go. I think everybody naturally would seek help from somebody who's capable and who looks most capable. So I don't think that's necessarily a gender thing. I think it's more of like your perceived strength.
But Dusto, that is a good scenario because I mean, you do got to kind of maneuver strategic nowadays. So like typically, if I had something like that, I'm just gonna ask for volunteers, and then it kind of works itself out. When you shoot out a blast email to staff and say, "Hey, I need like 5 volunteers to come move some heavy boxes," typically it's gonna be some guys that's gonna show up and stuff. So it just solves itself for you. So yeah, you just got to kind of maneuver strategically now. Because you will offend somebody sometimes.
They can get that petty though.
Oh yeah, sometimes it does,
Getting that petty.
Well, and I would say from a coaching standpoint, if I were to talk to, let's say, one of those individuals who was offended by that, I would ask them, and this is perfect world, of course, because there's no way to, nitpick every single thing. It's just better to be safe, like you said. Sophisticated jerk. But I would ask, so this person asking a man or asking a specific man, did he specifically say that you're weak or that because you're a female you can't lift anything? No, that's our
Coach K about to get sued.
It can't, right. But I'm trying to teach people to be more mentally strong. And
this is the YouTube janitor right here. She's not that professional.
He's a YouTube janitor.
Welcome to the show, Shamiria. I didn't give you a dusty introduction like I gave them.
Right.
But I know Sophisticated Jerk and Manic got to roll out.
Yeah. How late are you guys staying?
Introductory final thoughts. Start with Manic before y'all roll out.
I'm the Manic Genius. I'm on IG, so you can find me there, and I'll try to see if I can coordinate some better times. I like this conversation. I like where it's going, and just the general climate. Everybody getting a chance to kind of speak. So I definitely want to be back. So how late are you guys staying on tonight?
I'll be off by 9:30 for sure.
Okay.
We're gonna roll over the Black Man. But I think Jedi is asking for your contact in the back.
Okay.
All
yeah.
right.
Yeah. I'll drop it in the private chat.
And put whatever in the chat, and y'all are welcome to use whatever content, steal ideas. I don't care.
Yeah. Go ahead, take it.
Yeah, I'm writing it down right now. But just real quick, so y'all can continue on. Great conversation, and I'm glad you touching on these topics. Hi, Shushu, how you been? I've been watching everybody, Coach K and Jedi Mike, for a while now. So I like the people that you're bringing on. I think talk about professionalism and how people interact is definitely a good thing because it can help people that's possibly scared about going into work first. Because I do hear people talking about it, and it's like there's nothing to fear. It's just like, man, keep your posture, don't overstep any boundaries, and you'll be straight. But don't let them make fun of your suit either, Dusto. You got the cufflinks on, man. Stun on them a little bit.
Yeah, that show us.
This is a Jones, New York worsted wool and silk blended suit.
Nah, it looks fly, man. Don't let them dog you out like that. Shout out to World Class. But all right, y'all take it easy. Thanks again for inviting us up.
Yeah, appreciate y'all for coming.
Yo, I was going with my feminist suit jacket for you, but it's in the cleaners right now. I forgot. I was like, dang.
Yeah, it got a lot of dust on it. That's why.
No, clearly not. Whatever.
But, oh man. Shamiria Harris. Question.
Mm-hmm.
That's slipped out, but you're public anyway. My bad. What's the first thing you think about when we talk about men and women working in the workplace? First thing that comes to mind.
Right there on about sexual harassment.
Thank you. See, it's the constitutionally bound.
I thought when I asked that question earlier, it was going to flood harassment.
No, I was in the back chat. Title 9.
What? What?
But in the chat, they were like, conclusiveness, togetherhood,
Pronouns?
Nobody said harassment? Oh, okay.
I don't look at
Probably because y'all in the chat are facing charges now.
Hey, yo.
They keep calling my suit. It is what it is.
I know. I'm trying not to look because it's so funny.
No, trolls are always welcome over here. Y'all can roast me nonstop. I don't mind it. I'm struggling as usual. I'm struggling with the comments. My mouse broke, so I got to use this annoying finger pad, and it's killing me.
It's the Minecraft one for me.
World class, go to hell.
Civil rights look. I'm so done. It's terrible. That's a Moses original.
Reckless Ray, I'm throwing you out the ark. You can swim by yourself.
Yeah, he's my wig attorney. I've been stealing wigs since the age of 12.
Hey, yo.
I'm sitting.
Well, look, I don't wear them minister suits, them triple-breasted, with 78 button. You know the ones with the buttons that look like Nilla wafers. I don't wear them things.
Wafers.
You know them buttons that look like Nilla wafers, and they go all the way down to the ankles.
Right.
Yeah, I don't wear those.
Oh my gosh. It's terrible. It's just
Shout out to Easy Money Jones.
Oh my
Thank
God.
you. Thank you.
Oh, she said that's a nice suit. Hey, Tamika.
Show these cufflinks one more
He got
time.
that from me. Look at that picture. He got that from me.
Aww.
Oh, lovely. I can't blow it up.
You can't. It's all right. You don't need to.
I would.
Oh,
You look too close, it'll cut you. It's a shark.
There's too much on Washington. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in the hotel and the suit marched on Washington by itself. Okay.
Oh my gosh. You know what that means? It just means it's a classic. Okay. Classic.
That's a very nice way to say it.
Shout out to the Troll Illuminati, the Trolling 60s.
Okay.
I'm still struggling with this finger pad.
That's okay. And shout out to the chat too. What's going on, y'all? Hashtag Team Noble. I see you.
Team Shushu.
Lord.
Yeah, but Dusto, I wanted to acknowledge another point in the professionalism because like Coach K, like she mentioned it, was talking about ageism. Because I just graduated last year, almost like last December. And I'm an assistant project manager in construction. I've been doing that for about like I got like the month before I graduated. So working in the construction industry, and as now I'll be 25 next in a couple of months, that basically in that environment, there's definitely like a lot of younger people who are in the assistant project manager roles, while project managers are a lot older. But at least the company that I work with, they usually specialize in actually working with younger people to way that the fact that they can transition them to project managers a lot quickly. And the reason for that is there's a lot of superintendents, project managers are really old, especially superintendents who people are on site on jobs. I took certification on reading construction drawings and everything. So, but the one thing that the instructor says is that, you know, the difference is from people who can read decent construction drawings and who don't is a couple hundred, $1,000, but the reason why is that people don't want to do them. And that's why there's a lot of older folks who've been in the industry for 30 plus years are superintendents now when they're trying to transition that out, because there's only many like superintendents on jobs that have that level of responsibility, which is why they're proper younger folks. So like I'm definitely privileged to be in the workplace, not the company I work with right now, but that's not everybody doesn't have that privilege. a lot of people have to, at my age, have to prove themselves, especially at college, especially when you're negotiating salaries and also taking yourself seriously. Like, I mean, aside from like my age, people would notice, like, I get past 32 sometimes. So like, hey, I'll take it. But it just, I have to make sure that you can try to find every reason to disqualify me. I'm not going to give you one. So
That's interesting. Especially when it comes to, go ahead, Dusso.
No, go ahead.
And I think that this is a great, as I said in the back, it's a great topic. But I have so many questions on that, but I want to ask you, in terms of working in the construction field, I'm imagining there's not many women.
Yes, so there is not a lot of women in there. However, there's different positions in construction related, like, and it's not as blanket, like, you don't see people really just having some pouring cement or whatever. That's like a particular trade. Well,
Right.
what I'm in is in project construction management. So in that case, in workplace, there's several women in there. Like, I do have several other, but actually 2 to 8 PMs that trained me or helped, train me when I got the job were women. And they were in there for almost less than a year prior to me. And they done a fantastic job. There's also estimators who are working more of the accounting and financial part of it, in terms of actually bidding jobs and actually obtaining the subcontractors to do particular projects and everything like that. And then there's definitely women in that field. And I think, again, it's more of in terms of the management or office run, there's definitely, you see women do definitely like specialize in terms of more of like secretaries, accounting stuff. Listen, like my wife, I don't know, like nobody have nothing against my wife in terms of how she the plan out and everything, when it comes to like scheduling, whole calendar is listed bulletins right there, and all that stuff, right? But again, that's a very healthy skill. I feel like really like women specialize that more than men do. And because again, like you just think in a more nature sense, in the home, like there's a lot of things, that's happening all at once or happening throughout a month, whatever, especially if you're dealing with multiple people, i.e. children who don't know better. And also, i.e. you're leading them and trying to train them in XYZ. So there's definitely a lot of responsibility in that. So transitioning into like the workplace, regardless of any type of like construction, whatever fields, like in management, I think they do a really good job. I just think they have to be utilizing those positions the best way, effectively. And again, obviously with the other issues, with Title IX and stuff that we talked about before. But aside from that, like that I do believe that they do a really good job in that.
So, when you talk about your age being the thing, had you been approached by some of those single, experienced women's 50 and up coming up to you and saying, hey, come here, young boy, I can show you a few things? Have you had that happen on a job? You ain't had some of the women's? Oh, a young man.
Yeah, I'm so dead.
Hey, Shamiri and Coach K, y'all are fairly young. Y'all done had a couple of Cat Daddy Jones. Hey, you look a little bit like my daughter.
So
you haven't had a couple of those?
Never had a man
You go
like
first.
my daughter.
look at the comment section.
Samantha says yes in church.
So
oh Lord.
This beard got powers. So like now I'm like, just like with black women, I don't understand why it's like we don't, yes, we come in many different shades and factors and textures, but there's not a sign that says touch me, right? So it's like some people just when they come, especially older women in the church, it's like, man, I love your beard, and they touch my beard after it all been moisturized and glistening and all that stuff like that in front of my wife.
Not moisturized and glistening.
Right. And so it's like I've done with it, like dealt with it several times. So now in the workplace, I I don't know. I feel like I'm in my prime now where I'm aware how people view me now. It took me a while, like, to realize it now, but like I'm now just getting a sense, okay, I know I'm an attractive black male in the workplace and I speak proper. I'm very good at my job and I'm very good communicator. And now I'm just seeing that, especially now as a married man, it's very now prevalent now more than ever. Now, again, going to professionalism is that let's talk about we need to talk about in terms of men, how we conduct ourselves in the workplace, especially, you know, as married men, and, you know, in the workplace too. So I do establish a level of boundaries when it comes to that and how I communicate. But again, really the main thing is not really people really focus on that if I'm married. It's really just my age. It's like, okay, well, you young, you know, all that stuff like that. Even like a newlywed, you 24, whatever, you know, stuff like that. So most of my part of my job really is dealing with interpersonal relationships. So there's and especially when I'm going on job sites, you know, multiple times a week, you know, through, you know, several months throughout the year, and a particular project, definitely relationships are definitely established though, but I have to establish a healthy boundary in that. So yeah, that's just the only way how I proceed. But I don't have anything that serious, but just in terms of my normal day life. But yes, absolutely.
Yeah, to be honest, being married, I get you next. Being married is a major defense. It protects you a lot. You can always throw up 70, 80% of the, I'm married.
Have you not seen The Office?
They don't care.
Have you not seen
Right.
The Office?
What make y'all think they really care about that ring with his
Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna
That's
take
what they
the
say.
knowledge.
The other 20-30%.
The
I
Office
don't know, people wild.
after Jim, I already had, got married with Pam, you know, the woman he met at the workplace at the office, right? And, you know, had a baby and stuff. He went on a business trip. There was a woman that was a newly employee that came on that business trip with him. She knew that he was married, and literally she's talking to her girlfriend saying, well, maybe I'm trying to make a move at Jim because, you know, he's so hot, but like, he's married. I ain't stopping nobody, you know. And here they are at the hotel space, whatever. She's like coming in, you know, almost half naked into the room. Watch this on YouTube, right? But yeah, so it happens, and people, it's a put targets on your back. I don't want to say it's defense. I went to when I went to San Diego Comic Con. I told my wife this, so went to San Diego Comic Con, like only now I wasn't even a week married old, you know, like I was like, so it was like I get there and I mean all these different people and stuff, and here we are at this bar after party. And all of a sudden, you know, I think people find out I was a newlywed. I had a bunch of the, you you got the girls in the clubs and stuff like that, like model girls, whatever. Just coming to the, hey, how you doing? And now me, my naive ass, I'm like, oh, hi, Ari, what's up? You know, like, but I wasn't thinking like, oh, like, and the thing is because I'm covered. I had my friends came in like, and no, she's trying to get, which like, oh, okay, I didn't know. Like, that's how naive I am. Like, or at least in that situation, cause I'm like.
Right.
Like, why you come up talking to me? I'm like, oh, but there's a bunch of people here. But yeah, they find out I was married because like in my head, if they weren't gonna make a move on me, Dusto, as the point you're making, I was like, yeah, I'm married. But it's like, no, that just make them try harder. So
I have heard that about men.
So
my husband said it.
Right, and when I went to San Diego, I'm working. I was doing film journalism. I was interviewing, you know, directors and stuff at that time. So I was there to work. I wasn't there just to have a good time. So it's like, even though me working was the time of my life, you know, it was a dream come true. But yeah, I had to, I just had to.
Hey, sorry.
Hey, so hell, pull up.
But yeah, I just had to be careful with that now. Just now, I'm as a married man, I had to like just making sure that not that I'm gonna do anything. It's more of that just those there's gonna be definitely attacks and people now seeing put are gonna come at you like that, especially in the workplace. So I just gotta be mindful of that moving forward. But
set firmer boundaries.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Because
they weren't that wild.
You gotta respect it. You know what I'm saying? So,
Go ahead, Shamira.
I had a question actually for Jedi Mike. You all right? You in trouble?
No. I had to say something. But
okay.
Go ahead.
So who taught you professionalism, like how to be professional. Like when you going for a job or a job interview, like who taught you those skills?
My dad, my father, here's the thing, he came from a background was like he didn't really have his father to basically teach him how to wear a suit and all stuff like that. But I know that we went to church and him being a pastor, we basically came in our Sunday best. So the professionalism of going to church translates to me my professionalism and out, my everyday life, especially in school. Like, when it started from Boy Scouts, where it's like when they had checked, your uniform was straight, it was measured in the right length and everything. I know I had the highest score because my stuff was on point. And he's like, "You taking this seriously?" Yep, at the age of 12, I was taking it seriously. And when it translates an interview situation where I haven't, because of my decorum, how I treat myself when it comes to like interpersonal relationships, that's like in an interview sense or whatever, I don't really have that much anxiety really in interviews, because I know I trust myself. I know that I'm coming in correct, and I'm knowing that I'm gonna be an asset to you. But I think the distinction is that if you look good, you feel good. And then I think that most people, before they even put a suit on, you're wearing, what you're wearing is basically how in a professional setting, how people are going to treat you. So it's like in my workplace, I might be the youngest, but I'm the most fly. I mean, when I have my turtleneck, I have my ties on and stuff, while everyone's you're wearing some damn Calvin Kleins and stuff like that, and like you always wear nice stuff, Michael. Thank you. So that's how you remember me,
right?
So
he don't wear no Calvin Klein. He wear Calvin Jenkins. Like, continue. Calvin Smith.
The reason why I was asking, I was bringing it up, is because a lot of young people nowadays just don't have those skills, and they don't know the basics of like how to even show up to an interview
on time,
or like how to it's just like your basic stuff. And I think a lot of it too is just, it goes back to parenting. A lot of it just weren't taught, because when I think about it, like Jada, Mike, you just said like your father like taught you like those skills. My parents taught us those skills. Like they would always talk to us about being professional, showing up on time, like coming like in a suit or like dressed up for the interview. And like nowadays, like they really just don't have those skills. A couple of weeks ago at my job, they had me go into they call it tenant services, and that's where like they handle different stuff like with the clients and stuff that we serve or assist or whatever. And also what happens is like people who are like have to contact HR, they call that line. And they had me sitting in for the receptionist for a little while. And so while sitting there, I had a call come through. You could tell he was a young guy. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm calling because I want to talk to the person who the hiring manager who hired, because I applied for security, and y'all had said like we supposed to hear something back like in a couple of weeks, and a couple of people I was with, they heard something back. They got called, but I ain't get no call. I'm just saying, like, why y'all ain't called me? I done applied to y'all like twice." I said, whoa. First of all, I was like, the person you need to talk to. I said, "I'm gonna give you the email person you need to talk to." I said, "Before you email them, let me just tell you this." And I don't even supposed to be giving him this kind of information. Like, before you email them, let me tell you this. I said, don't approach them with that attitude, because it's very aggressive. And I understand you want the job, but if you want it, you're not going to get it like that. I mean, I understand you're frustrated. I said, start off with, hi, my name is, and I was just reaching back out. I applied for a position, and I was just following up. And leave it at that. I said, because you're not going to get it that way, okay? He was like, "Oh, all right, I appreciate it." Lord have mercy. It's just, I know it's just because he just didn't know. You know what I mean? Like he just didn't know. And I was just like, oh my God. Like, and I feel my heart go out to him, because it's like, he just, doesn't know. You know what I'm saying? So
well, with that, the one thing is that there's also professionalism in biting your tongue. There's professionalism in
Can you
terms
say
of
that one more? Can you say that one more time, sir? One more time.
there's professionalism in biting your tongue. I think, and this is also speaking to my melanated, brothers and sisters, stuff. That means you too, Coach K, in spirit. But what I mean is,
exactly.
yeah, right. But no, what I mean is that we, in the workplace, and we tend to get too prideful, in a situation where we need to humble ourselves because we are preventing, not just being respected, but also just in terms of the income of the people we're providing for. I like, hey, listen, at the cost of yes, on the phone, I deal with here thing, especially my job, the biggest thing, again, I said I deal with interpersonal relationships with clients and stuff. There's trades, who I show up and on site. I'm in DC. It's 5 in the morning, and they show up late, right? And I'm like, I can get mad and listen. Well, I have to get up early for you guys to show up late, whatever. And say, all right, they got here when they got here, they got the job done. And I say, thank you and whatever. But and they say, I'm so sorry. It's it's fine, whatever. Just make sure you don't do that again. But also because of my demeanor. And when situations arise like that, it's hey, if I need to ask them to do a favor for me, they would just do it. Not just hey, I've dealt with this person before. He has an attitude. I don't want to do that. And a lot of it, and surprisingly, when you see in management, you also see people's character too, which is another thing in professionalism. Because there's a saying that at least I live by now, me being a young person in the workplace, is that I'd rather look like a fool for a minute than be a fool for a lifetime. And that relates to me asking questions, right? Biggest thing that's stopping us because we're afraid of when we ask questions, how to make us look. Well, I don't know the answer to something. God bless you with a gift, ask questions. But the thing is, if you won't answer it because of your pride, because you don't want to look like, you don't know the answer to something. So therefore you do something where you don't say nothing, or you assume something, and then henceforward you get into another situation where you could have just said, I don't know what I'm doing. Hey, can I please ask for some help? And hopefully, if you're in a company that is based on actually true employee improvement, they can see, hey, listen, you humble yourself in that situation. Hey, you don't one, especially lying. It definitely is a very difficult thing in the workplace. I don't care what the category working in, construction, cooking, or anything like real estate, whatever. Again, those in the professional workplace, it reveals your character. So it's and people watch that. It might take a while for you feel like you're not being seen, but that's not necessarily true. It's just what we do behind closed doors and what we do when we're on the clock is it's still very important how we conduct ourselves, right? And not just when someone just right behind our necks and just looking at us, because obviously everyone can just can present their best self at a given time, but that's what distinct us from actually a good employee or an actual good CEO. You just got to decide which one you want to be.
Yeah, I'm gonna shift over to some dust. I'm gonna start with Coach K. It's I believe it is dust hour, ladies and gentlemen. Oh yeah, fire up the dust. Mm-hmm. Coach K, question for you. Tell me about an experience. And next week sometime next week we're gonna do panel interviews. We're gonna be talking about the process of interviews. So somehow it clicked in my brain, tell me about a time when, which is the most common sets of questions. But anyway, I want to know, all of us have been working a while, and there's been men and women in the workplace. Give me a dusty story. Something that happened. It could be you, or it could be some people that some men and women that they decided they didn't have it together at the workplace. What you got?
I'll say the one that I guess I could lean on, or where it's just straight up just unprofessional, because there's things that happen that could also happen between two women or two men, just being just crappy towards each other. But in terms of one thing is a like relationship, where a guy will, and I'm thinking of like restaurants. So much happens there. Yeah. Where a guy will only help this one girl just bend over back for, whatever she needs. And also just very touchy-feely, which couples do, but it's not the time. And I take my job very seriously. So it's like, let's go, just, I guess it's unequal treatment, but in a way that does impact the rest of the team by only helping this one person and maybe even neglecting their own stuff too. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm being very vague, but
yeah, I'm looking for all out. Matter of fact, I'll jump ahead of y'all two on the bottom. I'll give you some dust. Y'all want it?
Sure, I want that.
Okay,
I'm trying to not be toxic, but like
yeah, I thought we were going somewhere, Coach.
right,
well, I mean, luckily I haven't been in too.
I worked at this messy place. I won't say the name of this place. Maybe I worked there, maybe I didn't. I don't know. But you think I'm a troll here? You ought to see me in real life and some stuff I used to do. But this place, we used to recruit students. So it was admissions. We called to get them to come, the parents and all that. And I used to prank call, like we're in cubes. And, you get credit for students coming. That's what we make it, So I used to prank call friends at work, act like I'm the student. Hey, man, my name is John. This is John Jenkins. I'm like, hey, John, man, I can't come to school. I got a DUI. I beat my wife. And then eventually they realized it was me. But, man, I used to get them all the time. So I'm thinking somebody's getting me back. One day, I talked to some student. She was a student in work study. Them was always walking the building. Yeah, everything's cool. Somehow I sit down at the desk coming from lunch and check my cell phone. I see a message. Oh, yeah. You look like one of them men who like hot, steamy pleasure, don't you? What the hell? I'm like, which one of y'all? Man, who sending it? We're like, no, it's not me. It's not me. I'm like, who is this? Oh, yeah. I see you so sexy. I want to get a hold of you. Like, who? Dan replies with the name. I'm like, look, man, I work here. Don't be doing that. Then the next thing is, oh, so I guess you don't like women's. Me being professional, I just go to the director. Hey, this is a text message. I'm going to send you an email. I don't have a problem. I'll talk to her, but this is my money. This is what's going on. I'm just having a conversation to protect myself. I just let it be. But that was not cool. Not at all. Hot, steamy pleasure. What the?
So who was that? A student?
She was a student in work study, kind of. It was a school I worked at.
Almost like a TA.
I never gave her my number. The other thing was I never gave her my number.
Oh, where they'll go find the employees' numbers, like let's say in the break room or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was messy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that place was a mess. I mean, somebody smashed a temporary receptionist in the closet in that building. A friend of mine was knocking down the other receptionist. Somebody was trying to get a piece of me. It was a mess. But these people.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Damn. Husband got stabbed in the parking lot.
Oh, you ain't see that? Yeah. You see, he worked with somebody, his co-worker's husband got stabbed by her boyfriend in the parking lot. Hey, yo, what is going on?
Now, I've seen something like there was a window in that same job, and it was a hood apartment complex right next door. Mm-hmm. And we just watching. The sad thing, it was kids in the car. And this dude outside the car, she's in the car. Then you see him actually try to reach in the car and try to sling on her. The trunk was open for some reason, and he grabbed like a tire iron. She started speeding off, and he threw it at the car. Yeah,
That's crazy.
they called the police. But yeah. Anyway, back to the Dusties in the workplace. What dust and Shamira have you seen in your workplace? Between the men and the women, the men's and the women's.
Of course, like I've seen messy situations, and not as severe as like a husband getting stabbed by the boyfriend, but I've seen a situation where like I was working in this particular place, and it was a situation where it was almost like a restaurant. So we had like a kitchen area though, because like they had like specialty like snacks and stuff like that. And like in that area, like one of the guys who was like I guess you could say like one of the pastry chefs or whatever, he was messing with a couple of the girls, the other girls that worked back there, and one of the cashiers. And like I guess you know how women talk, and so they got to a point where they figured it out, and like so all of a sudden they weren't cool anymore, the females weren't cool anymore, and like so you could just feel the tension in the air. It's just like one of them situations I'd be like, woo, I do not need to be back here right now, let me walk the other way. And so one particular night, I guess everything like just blowed up and came to a head, and like so the girls, like two of the girls, like start getting into it. Like they actually start fighting at work in front of customers, and like they going off on the dude. He called himself trying to break them up or whatever, and like they sit with fighting, they throwing food. I'm talking about this is happening like during business hours in front of customers. I was like, what are y'all doing? Like, what are y'all doing? Is the D that good? It's worth that. It's worth all that.
Just because they ain't had none of me. So.
I was like, are you serious? Needless to say, they all got fired. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying that it was insane to me. I couldn't believe like y'all don't care at all. Like y'all had to do this here, like right now. Yeah. I don't know. I've seen a couple of other workplace relationships that like don't necessarily go well, and when it goes sour, like all of a sudden it's just like, when you see the two people together, it's just a whole bunch of tension, a whole bunch of attitude. I'm just like, y'all at work. Y'all don't understand. Y'all at work. Like y'all can hate each other outside. Like when y'all leave this place, hate each other then. But when you come in, like you remember, you are paid to be here. You are paid to do this job. You are paid for this time. So you're not like, they're not paying you to go to war with your coworker, because that's what they are. They're your coworker. So like, I don't know.
Who I have worked with, and we were definitely at war with each other. It's probably why they usually have these policies. Was my twin sister.
Really?
Yeah. Like but this was at a restaurant. But it actually was kind of fun. I mean, the customers loved it. It was funny. Like I would go to I'd stop by one of her tables, whatever they needed. And they would look at me like, wait, let's say, hey, do you want to refill, whatever? And I'm like, what are you drinking? And they would probably be like, I don't know what I'm drinking. And I'm like, I'm your server, and sometimes they would do like double takes. So that was kind of fun. But man, she worked there longer than me at the time. She didn't work as much, but she just would ask me the just dumb. This is just a sibling. My coaching stuff goes out the window. It's just dumb. It's like, you've worked here for how long and you don't know the answer to this question? You know what I mean? But always ask questions. People always ask questions. But yeah, I just had no tolerance for her. It was bad when we were fighting. Like, people would still talk about it to this day. But that's about it. I honestly don't have any like juicy stories because I didn't get involved with like people like that. Like I didn't get into like I would go to work. I was cool with a lot of people,
Right.
But I like if you're doing some messy stuff, I do not hang out with you. You know.
Right. Yeah. I try not to get into too much of workplace gossip and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna lie, I keep up with just enough so I know what's going on. So like, I know where I don't need to be. Or like when I pick up on stuff, I'm just like, wait a minute, this is crazy. You know what? I need to go over here. I forgot it's something I need to do over here.
Right. There's no guilt by association over here. That's
exactly.
There is a little bit of, there might be some guilt on you. I gotta rewind that back.
Oh my God, what is going?
That's so breathe. Wait, I gotta rewind that back.
What is going on?
Ladies and gentlemen, workplace safety. Make sure you have a Kevlar, a mouthpiece, and safety glasses on when trying to open a bottle.
Okay.
What I was gonna say was, if you knew stuff was going on and you didn't like tell anyone about it, you were like almost in as much trouble.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Like if you witnessed it and didn't say anything.
Yeah.
But that's actually a good. I don't know if you want to talk about it in this show or not, Dusto, but like when you kind of being a snitch, but like if you see someone blatantly break the rules, let's say not, for example, again, I worked in a lot of restaurants, not using a cutting glove. Like, what am I supposed to do? Just go and freaking tell? But it's a clear violation, safety violation, whatever. Right. Or doing drugs. I wouldn't say anything, but
in front of the customers.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh gosh. Yeah, no. I don't know. I know we had was like the sexual harassment training and stuff like that they do on the jobs and stuff, and they tell you like when you see things happening on a job, like you're supposed to go to your supervisor or whoever and like let them know that, hey, this is going on. And like, of course, in the training, you like, okay, yeah, but in everyday life, it's most people like, I don't want to get involved. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It is kind of like a tough call, a tough situation. I just try and keep my head low and like just focus in on what I'm doing. Because I don't want no problems. You know what I mean?
Right.
Problems.
Yeah, I'm gonna protect my money. I'm gonna protect my reputation.
Right.
Like good question you asked earlier. How were you prepared, or did anybody teach you professionalism?
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, a little bit, and then I had to learn the rest on my own. I give you another semi-dust story. I used to do prepaid legals. It's network marketing while I was in college. I went to the Army. I didn't have a suit. I came home from the Army, no suit. My friend Eric gained some weight, couldn't fit the suit. Hey man, I give you some money for it, and I can fit it. Then he gained some more weight. I gained some weight. I can't fit this one. I bought another one off. Hey, I got two suits. I ain't know nothing about how to tie a tie. Yeah. I knew a suit is whatever. I didn't know nothing about no style. So later I bought a couple other suits. Some of them was too big. I didn't know about no tapering, none of that stuff. So I went to a convention down in New Orleans. My friend who's pretty professional. Now he's an endodontist. On his own practice, everything. I'm tying up my short sleeve shirt. And I was, heavy in the weights. Bubbles hanging all out the sides because it was a regular instead of fitted. I ain't know nothing. Short sleeve shirt, and I'm tying up a tie, looking straight like a math teacher. He's blocking the doorway. Hey, what are you doing? I was like, man, come on now. I'm going to the He's like, no. Take off that jacket. Take off that tie. When you get back, we got to talk. Man, I felt like I was the janitor at freaking not even Starbucks, the outside the parking lot janitor after that. And I go to the convention, I'm like, and I start asking, I'm seeing all these professionals. Excuse me, sir, would you wear a short sleeve shirt with a tie? Oh, no. Excuse me, sir, would you wear no. I'm gonna roll around 2 years, short sleeve shirts and a tie.
Dwight wears that, right?
Who?
Dwight.
Who's Dwight?
He
Dwight
does.
from the office.
He does.
Yeah, it's like, then I go home and I start asking questions, and people just like, nah, bro, go get your GQ. Matter of fact, go to Men's Warehouse, had a cup. So I started asking all the questions. How to tie this knot, that knot. What about this? Okay, if this is black, like my watch is black, my belt needs to be black. The shoe should be black. Like all the
Wear
color
a belt.
I wouldn't learn.
Yes.
Yeah, if you wear suspenders, don't wear suspenders with a belt. So I went, it's like, I'm not going to go through that again at all. But nobody taught me either.
You know,
And I was looking like a fool for a long time.
that's commendable that guy would. Who was he to you? Your
He's a
friend
friend.
or-
4 years. Yeah, he's
Okay.
4 years older than me. Grew up together.
That's commendable to even say something because, and I think this is the case for a lot of women, especially. They don't. What? They don't want to say anything because they don't want to hurt their feelings, or even like thinking about the managers that I've had in the past that were really hard on me, and it was tough, like going through it. But looking back, I'm so glad they were because I learned so much, and I was better for it. So it's like, you know, if you're in that position, their feelings might be hurt, but guess what? Tell them the truth. Be nice about it, because they are going to benefit the long run versus just letting them. Like the amount of times where this is silly, but my mascara was like, you know, I'm like, why didn't anyone tell me? You think that looks good? Does anyone want their mascara looking like that? Like, I'm not going to be offended. Just tell me, and I'll go fix it. You know.
But you're going to ask the older guy, does my mascara look as like, no, yes, looking.
Honestly, I could ask. You know what though? My guy coworkers, they would probably tell me more, or they're more likely to tell me than a female coworker. Females are not all everyone, very catty.
Wait, are you going against the sisterhood?
I don't fall under any label.
There is no sisterhood. Put money or put something of value, you'll see how loyal that really is. Matter of fact, on the job, thank God I'm just ugly and just good looking enough to attract women, but just ugly enough to keep the wrong ones away.
I know, right?
Lurking around this other dude's desk, asking him all this stuff. And I'd always have something I would say to try to turn certain women away or turn them off. But seen dudes had them problems. And then the girls start hating each other. And supposedly he smashed this one and he knocked down the one at the other. Yep. I'd always keep me.
Yeah, let's talk about professionalism in the church.
Oh, I don't have the right suit on, my brother. I gotta go get an orange triple breast 76 button,
but like,
Southern plastic.
No, I will say though, like this, what Coach K was talking about, you know, people won't say nothing and will just allow you to just do that. Cause I had to go in like, you know, not everyone at work is your friend. It's like there's like a Drake meme that thing I've seen on social media when he interviewed by somebody. He says, "I don't like any of you." You know, like,
right, yeah. I've seen that.
Right. You know, and then like they threw a surprise, you know, engagement party or, you know, a wedding party for me. They had, you know, had the cake and everything and stuff. And I wasn't expecting that because some people I just won't talk to you, and you know, and other people, you know, I talk to on a regular basis are cool. But again, like some people don't have your best interests. They're really not gonna look out for you. Like even if it's simple, like what do they call those bathroom things where you don't put toilet on the toilet seat? You have like a whole sheet.
Seat
With like
cover?
a liner, I guess. A
The
liner
seat
of some
cover,
kind.
the
I don't
seat
know.
cover that you put on the toilet before you use it. They have in certain corporate offices, hopefully.
Right, liners, yeah.
Right. But listen, I went in there one time, right? I had one laid and stuff like that. I was done my business, walked out. It was still attached to my pants while I was walking out. I'm being dead serious. And when it took to a black woman, the estimator was sitting, her office was right behind me, open door. It's like, it's like this. I'm like, what? Oh my gosh. I did not know that ever happened to me. I know that happened in the movies, but like luckily there wasn't a lot of people in the office that day, but it's like took it out and everything. But look, that's someone looking out for you, But yeah, and now the Coach K, would I be that like friend to say, hey, I think it's your mask? If we have that relationship as a friendship, whatever, definitely. But I'm not gonna be a hater, I do believe it's like it's gonna come around where you're gonna ask somebody you really didn't think you asked for a favor, but because how you treated them or how you are around the office and stuff like that, it's like no, I'm not gonna. Yeah.
Really? So let's say there's a shit. Can I cuss on here? I actually need to work on this anyway, so disregard that question. So if there's someone that's a real jerk in the office and they walk out of the restroom with that liner sticking out of their pants, you wouldn't tell them?
I would.
If they're a jerk?
Oh,
Not what I think. No. What I mean is like the act of killing.
You don't need to physically remove it for them, but
No.
would you
What I
tell
mean
them?
is like it just. My thing is like I told my wife this. My issue with me is that when you see those moments in movies where you might have a jerk and you might just want to punch him in the face, whatever, and but like in some cases people don't do it because they're scared. I don't do it because like that's not like I know I'm not supposed to. And that's not who I am, right? I think it's more power in restraint than it is in terms of being impulsive, because you being impulsive, like you're the one of the easiest type of people to control, and nobody can control me, But what comes to that with the situation, he's a jerk, but I'm like, hey man, I won't make a big deal with it. If it's like a friend of mine, hey man, listen, you can
Right.
But if it's someone like I don't know, like, hey,
Yeah, like
and
heads
something
up.
simple can plant a seed of like, you know what, this dude's all right. You look out for me, whatever. Say, hey, don't remember this. So
Right.
I just try to just be an example. Hopefully, just people when I'm like when they're around me to see kindness and grace is like I'm not like a difficult person. If you have a problem, let's talk about it. But even if you come in correct, whatever, I just know how to handle you. But stuff like that, I don't know. I just
Hey,
wouldn't,
that could be
yeah.
Paul for all you know. But
Oh,
it's Saul.
You heard that? No, someone was just reading about Paul and Saul.
another question for the
I
panel.
love that.
This is a communication and solution-based panel. That's what most of my shows are going to be. I want to know, how can you protect yourself, women and men, or what's the most that you can do to protect yourself about being a victim of harassment, or to keep from doing the harassment? I'll start with Coach K. What's the best thing you can do? Professional advice you'd give to someone who's a man or woman employee?
I would say from the standpoint of being harassed, I liked your story about it. You were very clear, and because I think that, again, sometimes with women, we're kind of shy about it, and you don't need to be like a lunatic, but kind of being firm about if someone's doing something or saying something that is clearly, blatantly, falls under harassment. If you're not sure, ask your manager, get a, code of conduct book. Now, if they say your hair looks nice, I mean, is that harassment? I don't think so. Maybe. Is it scam? I'm not sure.
The disrespectful is the one with the lace front and the wig. Like, you didn't even acknowledge them.
I'm gonna get to that later.
We'll
We'll make some people mad, but remember that if somebody's saying you look nice, or
Your
somebody.
hair looks nice.
I'll get to it later. Just keep that in the back of your skull.
I don't know.
I know it could be it could be twisted. I'm trying to think of like an because they don't say that to everyone. So yeah, that could be kind of tricky. But something that they say something nice. I don't know. You guys come up with an example that is not harassment, but some people twist it where there isn't anything going on, but they make it a problem, for example.
Right.
But just be clear and make sure that you're being clear about things, and always get a manager involved. Let them know. But always be respectful too. You don't need to act a fool. Retaliate or whatever. I don't know. Some of this is hard, Scam, because it's so like common sense, but people don't know.
At the job. No personal comments at the job.
Fair enough.
I believe that was.
You'll cover yourself all the way.
Fair enough.
That's true. That's very true.
That is probably the best way to go about it. That is fair. No fraternizing.
Fraternizing is okay, but no personal comments. You can say you did a hell of a fine report. You can say you did a hell of a anything that has to do with job work relation. But when it comes to your personal body, no personal body comments, and you'll cover yourself. That's man or woman.
You're right with that.
It's true.
So that covers both, yeah.
Yeah, but what if you really like their shoes? You just want to say, you know what?
No. Cause somebody could say they just got through watching Cinderella, and you trying to go up from the shoe to the ankle to the legs to the thighs to the hips. So no, So no personal comments. You cover
Like the
yourself
haircuts,
every
the
time.
guys, when
Nothing.
guys get their
Nothing.
haircuts.
What about my beard? What about my beard?
Nothing. Beard could be used as a teaser. So no.
I believe the OG
That's smart. That's a smart
I believe the
standard.
OG has spoken.
As a teaser, never heard that before.
Yeah.
Hey, Shamiria.
And Scam Lightly, he might have told you how to dress, but he didn't tell you not to tie a Winslow knot with a tight tuck shirt, white shirt. You need a
I've
single knot
learned
with
so
that one.
much about suits.
That's a
this
Winslow.
stream.
Winslow is made for big
the
collars.
whole damn life.
But usually my secret is usually I would unbutton this one. I done lost so much weight, my neck got smaller. Now I can spread it out some more.
There you go.
But I lost so much weight.
If you're going to do a Winslow, you unbutton that one.
Yeah.
Because it spreads your shirt out.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what we need to do is just teach guys how to tie different types for knots.
I can do that.
One day just do fashion for guys and show them how to tie knots. What suit colors go together with shirts, because everybody try to pick just the white shirt. I mean, that's so 70s and 80s.
I don't even own a white shirt.
Yeah, so I'm saying some guys, they don't know how to put different colors. You can take different colors with gray suits. Stay away from the black suits, because black suits are usually used for formal funerals or something like that. Stay with the dark blues, the grays, and stuff like that. Yeah, there you go. Now you're talking. And stay away from the shiny suits. You don't want to wear shiny suits. You don't want to wear suits that look like you put an iron on it and it burnt it and made it shiny. That's kind of like for real young guys, more mature guys. Your earth tone suits are real good. And then you brighten them up with your ties and your shirts.
That's great advice, JSB.
I'm gonna put Jedi on the big screen. There we go.
I don't need to know any of this, but that's stuff that I would imagine a lot of people don't know. A lot of men don't know.
Yeah. So I used to wear suits every day for 30 years. So I got real used to wearing suits. And so different types of shirt. And you can wear suspenders with a belt. You can. But it's a certain suspenders. You have what you call the Y hook suspenders in the back. Then you have the double hooks. That's the 2 on each side, front and back. You don't want to wear belts with that. But the single Y hook, you can wear belts with that one. And it looks kind of good. And yes, there's nothing wrong with wearing short sleeve shirts and a tie. It's the right kind of suit. Usually if you wear a short sleeve shirt with a suit, you want to have a breast coat. That's what we used to call it. A breast coat. That means you want to have a button down under you. It's a 3-piece suit versus a 2-piece suit.
3-piece.
You don't want to wear a 2-piece suit with a short sleeve shirt.
Jeez.
Yeah, I had a 2-piece and I got dusted off pretty bad.
Right. You want to wear that with a 3-piece, and it looks much better because when you take off your coat, it still look like you formal dress because your vest.
I hope, JSP, do you think these standards will I guess go away with time? I hope not.
Suits and uniforms will always be in.
Good.
Because they are the ideal things. When a woman can see the average man in a suit, or look, we had this committee out here in California one time. We called it 100 Suits. And what we used to do is dress up in suits and go in the community and just walk and just speak and talk.
I saw that. They had a photo shoot. It was massive. They had young men, they had toddlers and suits and everything.
And we just go in the neighborhoods on the weekend. On the weekend and just walk and just speak to people. One thing a man will not tell you, but he'll say to himself, y'all prancing in the mirror as women when y'all like hairstyle, you're trying to look how y'all lines are, your makeup, and then you get the full mirror so you can get the full effect. When men put on suits, they do the same thing. They feel like Superman. When you got on a suit, you feel like Superman. You hardly ever. I mean, it just changed your whole temperament, everything when you put on a suit.
That is absolutely true. I can't dust with this suit on. I couldn't see myself getting a fight with this suit. I can't do it.
It keeps it in.
What'd you say?
Right. That's why like some clubs and like some places you go to, like it's a dress code. Like you have to have some places they require you to wear a suit jacket.
Right.
So you can't.
And it changed the whole thing. It changed everything.
It does. It really does. Like you don't hear about fights and stuff like that breaking out in those kind of places because like people don't realize it's like I'm not gonna mess up my good clothes. You know what I mean? Like I'm in a suit right now. I'm fine. I'm not gonna mess this up. So yeah, it does.
And sometimes best men's is the first time they ever put on a suit, and they wear suits for the rest of their life because of the way it makes them feel. You know what I mean? So
there's initiatives in our fraternity, which is called Bigger, Better Business, Social Action, and Education. That is one of our principles. One of the things that we have throughout the organization is doing things like be business ready men. And so we try to be sponsorships with other like Men's Warehouse and suit companies, stuff like that. On college campuses, we actually did that where men were actually tailored, where they're able to get actually a suit for free, and everything. So that was because really also, these suits are very expensive, but at least, we just need one good suit just to start off. And then hopefully that, leads you to a nice, journey in terms of, bringing your collection and everything. But again, I think it's just not really the whether young men want to. It's more the know-how. Like they just need to have a starting point, which is what I mean. I just like showed what simply just how to tie a tie is also, much as very simple, is actually a powerful thing, especially to doing that to another man, having that privilege to tie someone else's tie. And I don't know, women, like at least women can say just watching that, for men, there's something for us in it too when we're trying to teach someone how to tie a tie, because there's some type of like brother's keeper, at least for me when I do that. So it's like there's a way of, again, that's also teaching a level of decorum, how we treat each other. So it's like, when you have that level of respect, and you tend not to be that confrontational.
And my dad taught me how to tie a tie, and that's only because when I was working at the time, a tie was a part of the uniform. So like we had to have like, you know what I mean, and I had no idea how to tie a tie. So like I would have been there like, Dad, can you do this for me, please?
Right.
Yeah, Mandrell can't. Your brother can't tie a tie.
Yeah, no neck. What are you talking about?
The brother got a Velcro
If you
I was gonna
military
say,
green.
oh well, they did just bring those back. If you're talking about the one of the pinks and greens or whatever, but I was gonna say that even for my coaching clients, for all ages, sometimes we have this belief that we can't dress, nice or even presentable, let's say when we're on our fitness journey, because we want to hide. But when you think that I'm not going to look nice until I deserve it, that still affects you subconsciously. So how do you show up when you're, not where you want to be? Do you think you get yourself any closer to where you want to be day to day when you try to hide or wear really loose, just, not a great quality, type of attire? Does that make sense?
Well,
Go ahead,
makes a lot.
Be the person before you be the person.
It makes a lot of
Go ahead.
sense. I did a social experiment in 1997 with some young men in Victorville. I had moved to Victorville to raise my daughter because I didn't want to raise her in a metropolitan area. So I did a social experiment because I was real friendly with the family. And these guys, they didn't want to really work for anybody. And it was like 16, 17, it was being homeschooled. And I did a social experiment with them. I said, I'm going to show you something. So we went downtown, what we call downtown, and it's where you buy all the wholesales, the suits, the clothes, everything. And I told them to wear just their regular attire, turn their hat to the side, to the front, whatever they want to do. Walk in there and start asking the man for prices and stuff like that. They did. We came back a week later. I dressed all of them with a button down, a suit, and everything. Told them to walk in and ask for the same prices. Pretty much the prices were 40% cheaper than when it was wearing the street clothes. The people treated them much different, so they got to see it hands-on. How people look at you and treat you just from what you wear. And so everybody can do that with their own children. You can do these little social experiments where you can just show. Sometimes we telling people they don't really understand. They'll try to tell you it's not like that, and then you let them do a social experiment and let them see it in real time, and then they start to understand.
Amelia, how do you protect, or what would you tell a person going into workforce how to protect themselves against Title IX harassment, male or female, or male and female?
For men, I would say number one, like exactly what J Speed said. If you're going to give somebody a compliment, don't mention anything about them physically. Just stay away from that altogether. And if you're going to compliment them compliment them on the job that they do, like their actual work and their actual work ethic. If you see where it's someone who is making advances at you and you're not interested in them, you've already made the boundary. Talk to your supervisor about it. If you don't want to, if that makes you feel like you snitching on somebody, because for some people it does. They talk to your supervisor about moving you to like a different area, or like maybe just distancing yourself from them. You know what I mean? As far as women go, at the same time, I would give the same advice. Number one, don't just try to stay away from personal appearance comments. And, if there is someone who is making advances at you and you don't feel comfortable with it, number one, let them know, hey, that's not cool. Set your boundaries. And if they're not respecting those boundaries, then, talk to your supervisor about it. If you feel like it's snitching, then talk to your supervisor about moving you maybe to like a different desk or like a different area, like somewhere where you're not in that same space with them. So, I think that's a good start.
So don't have them right next to you, all up under you, and say, hey, let me put my hand on the mouse so I can feel your... Anyway.
Just it's just the, I guess, in a way you could say it's a passive aggressive way of distancing yourself from them. You know, so like, you know, if you just the type of person where, I mean, because I try and I'm like, I guess you could say conflict adverse. Like I try to avoid conflict at all costs, you know, as much as possible, as much as I possibly can. If it's just a situation where like I just can't avoid it, bottom line is, hey, listen, you know, you're gonna ruffle some feathers, it's gonna cause a little smoke. Ain't no way around it. That's just what it is. Then, but if there's a way that I can avoid all that, then but that's just me.
Thank you.
There's some tricks you can really use without taking the air in employment, especially in a situation like that. Especially if you think the person is going to be there long term and you going to be there long term. My solution to something like that is invite a couple people and get the person totally surprised. Invite a couple people to lunch. Have a lunch and sit down. And then that person you sit down becomes your witness. And you just tell the person, I'm happily in a relationship. And I'm not the kind of person who go to HR because anything don't go my way. And I don't want anything to be put in your record, but I need for you to understand that I'm okay with the way my life is going, and any advancement you try to give me from this point on will not be accepted. And this will be the last time we have this conversation. And I think that's the way you break the air and you thin in the air without making it thick. Because now the person can't get mad at you because you got somebody else with you. You see what I'm saying? He or she thinking they're getting a free lunch. But you paying to keep the flow of the work flow in your company cool, where you don't have no animosities or anything. And from that, if anything happened from that, you can always go to HR then, because that person been forewarned.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Coach K got to roll out. Any closing remarks?
No, thank you for having me, Scam. This was a great conversation. I definitely learned a lot. And I think that a lot of people can benefit from this topic, especially because men and women are going to be working together forever. But also just being a respectable human being, just treating others with respect. That's really all there is to it. But yeah, thanks again, Scam. I don't have anything to share though, if you're wanting me to do that, but
Thank you. No, thank you for coming.
Sorry.
I was gonna say, yeah, nah.
Okay. I will say it does make things easier when you laugh at yourself, because that's some things that I always do in the workplace. Like if I trip in front of people, I'll just laugh.
Right,
I know you saw that.
Exactly.
Well, thank you guys again. Have a great night, panel and chat. I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Thank you. I'm gonna drop some dust when I go, but I'm gonna save it. Then I'm gonna drop some gloom and doom. And people ain't gonna like it, but it is what it is.
Well, let me guess, it's the women's in the workplace.
Women's and men's, yep.
Oh Lord.
But Jedi Mike, what would you tell somebody? How do you protect yourself? You're a man, or male or female in the workplace, from Title IX.
How to protect yourself is basically establishing healthy boundaries, because again, I think you're not trying to be disrespectful, but there's also situations within Title IX where people didn't know, like, wait, I wasn't, trying to, do anything, whatever. But it doesn't matter what you were trying or not trying to do. The issue is that whoever on the receiving end, they perceived it as, hey, this was a crossing of boundary. So in order for you to protect yourself in those situations, don't get yourself in a predicament where you're going to be lead the invitation of something, or lines might get blurred. That means not in terms of physical interaction, but also just a conversation, a joke, in terms of how you address somebody, and people in the workplace and stuff like that. Also, there's another thing too. Even I don't know where if your job is mobile or not, whatever. But also, if someone's following you, like if hey, why are you over here when your job is over there? Like that those are things. Like now, if you're in one particular area, then you can't help that. But there definitely is. Yes, right. Definitely. There's such thing as stalking in the workplace and too. So I just understand making sure you guys establishing healthy boundaries on that. On the men's side too, also what Dustin point out when it comes to really with conversations and stuff like that. Listen, and this is a ghetto rule. Make sure you keep receipts. Don't delete your text messages. Don't delete all that stuff, whatever, because then you get into whole our power, especially as black men, saying, hey, this happened to me, whatever. Not unless we actually have some concrete evidence. Even then, that might not be enough. But that's all. Just telling people to protect themselves, especially if it's coming from like a text conversation or whatever. Make sure you just make screenshots. We have modern day technology is a hell of a tool, so use it. They can also use your resources too. Like we're supposed to be at work to provide for our family, provide for ourselves and stuff, and then we're not trying to go there. In some cases, some people are trying to find a relationship, whatever, but there's a time and place for everything, and when you're on the clock, especially your hour or salary, make sure you act cordial and professional. And it's class and everything.
I'm gonna add a few things.
Submission.
She ain't trying to get popped in the eye with the top of the bottle. She's protecting herself.
That's terrible. Girl, don't do it. Let him get his own wine. He can get his own wine. Don't do it, girl. Don't do it.
Feminism.
He can get his own wine, girl. Don't do it.
Shout out to Tamika. Here's the deal. How does a person protect himself?
I ain't in your house.
And I keep my hand open while the glass is pouring full. The glass is half empty, not half.
Okay.
See, now I got to use a used car salesman voice.
And that right there in real time is what you call submission. You YouTube ninjas don't know jack shit.
Jedi Mike was found sleeping on the couch later that night.
Okay.
A blow-up mattress with a headboard on it in the middle of the living room with his PlayStation.
I'm trying to get a place PS5. Hey, listen, come back here. I need a PS5.
Salute to Tamika.
Right.
Tamika for vice president.
That's right.
Yeah. How does a man or woman protect themselves? They need to follow a few rules and things that they need for understanding. Some of this is opinionated. Some of it just is what it is. Number one, your reputation. People see you and they observe you a certain way, and they're going to treat you as such. Be professional. Be quiet. Stay out of, and like I always say, the best way to avoid a punch is don't be there when the punch is being thrown. Don't put yourself in certain situations. When the nation of Wigwam is in the back with cell phones, oh, look at these menses. Don't go in the break room or go sit in the corner. When the dude is, oh man, I was at the club and shorty with the big booty breastises, oh. Don't be over there where that conversation is being had. You don't want people to see you as a certain way. And then, because your reputation and your perception, they might treat you a certain way when or if something happens. They see you as that guy, or you must be one of those. Oh, he be hanging out with Tony and the rest of it. Yeah, say more. Vet and observe. If you are checking out some of these ladies, well, first I'll start with vetting the people that you're around. What coworkers are you talking to on the regular, talking about your sports, your football, whatever? Observe and chill out for a few weeks till you get to know who people are, supervisors, coworkers. Then maybe find the old married church guy, the old person who's quiet in the corner just like you. Don't go and make friends with the people who's always into all this stuff already. Because you always got, especially if you work any kind of government, There's cliques of people who hate and they want to take down. Man, they shouldn't have gave that person that promotion. I'm gonna get this person fired. And they filed on somebody 3 years ago. People talk too much. You might not want to befriend that person and get too close, because they're gonna think that you're one of those people. But keep your eyes open, observe, and understand your surroundings. I'm not gonna tell you you can't be friends with anybody, or you can't talk to any woman, but make sure you know who you're dealing with. Happy hours. Best thing to do, if they're having little meetups, whatever, don't go. That's the best thing.
Yeah, I don't go.
Number 2, if you go early. Once they pop drink 2, drink 3, oh man, I gotta get the kids this. But you don't have no kids. Oh, gotta get them anyway. I gotta get ready for the kid. Roll up out of there before drink 2, drink 3. Because that's when, oh man, you see Tracy's fat ass. That's when that happens, and you were present for that conversation. They drunk. It wasn't Jedi Mike. It was Dusto, Scam Like It, who said it. Now you're in the office, huh? Me? He was there. They don't remember who said it. They had so many drinks. They had some crack in the bathroom. Is what it is. Go, get out of there before they start acting stupid. Or bring your spouse if you're married. That's kind of a protection. Or we gotta leave. That spouse serves as a protection, as protection. Other one is just shut the hell up. People talk too much on the jobs. Always saying something, always into something. Do your job and shut up. No, you ain't got to keep talking to the women's. You ain't got to be in every conversation. Protect yourself. Or, well, you know what he really said, what he meant was. And the last one, before I drop some more doom and gloom that y'all ain't gonna like, is documentation. He said this, he said this. He was looking at my leg. Have a conversation and document it. Hey, Tracy, I need to talk to you. I wasn't really doing that and checking for all this stuff. Okay. Now I'm going to send you an email. I'm going to clear this up. I'm going to talk to my supervisor because I got my reputation. Protect yourself. Or the woman comes up to your desk. Ooh, you dark chocolate, little young brother. I want to get a hold of you. When that happens, like it has happened, another job, a woman just called my work desk. Hey, are you single? Huh? You want to go to a sport hangout? This caught me off guard. And coworker was a coworker walking by was one who runs her mouth too much. So I can't say single. I can't say names. I'm just like, yeah. So I'm like, I'll call you back. Call back. Now I'm kind of dealing with somebody. I was lying. I was quite lonely and missed my old baby. Things didn't go right. But I didn't tell her that. I went to my supervisor. Hey, because we had a good relationship. Supervisor, I just want you to know such and such called me, said this. I ain't saying nothing, but you never know what can happen. Supervisor's like, noted. I got you. It's just things that you can do to protect yourself. But if you can't do nothing else, you can shut the hell up. You cannot talk. You cannot use it. You cannot do that. Now, here's the gloom and doom. Y'all ready, people?
No.
Gloom and doom. Oh, yeah. Gloom and doom. Bad news. Harassment is in the eye of the beholder. It is physical, verbal, or visual. Physical. He touched me. It doesn't have to be the truth. You still got to defend yourself because they said you did it. Now what you gonna do? Verbal. He said that he said that, and he had called. He said you got to defend yourself. So sometimes it's not about being right or wrong. It's about the situation that you got put on, and you got no control. You can control what you can control, and you can't control what you can't. And the worst one is visual. He keeps staring at me and giving me these looks, and this. How you gonna prove that? You control what you control, and you can't control what you can't control. But do as much as you can in the controlling part. The best defense you can have is your reputation. Tony? Come on, man. Tony married. Oh, he loved his. Then it's her reputation. She filed on Jedi Mike 6 months ago, and she filed on me because she didn't get that promotion. Kind of can defend yourself a little bit better. But if you keep talking about the strip club in the lobby and that you banged up shorty last night and you tired and sleepy and your reputation, you look bad. You got to defend yourself. Some of this ain't cut and dry. It ain't fair, and it ain't going to never be. It's the women's, the men's, gender A. All that stuff, even these red pill dust panels and all that hatred is going to spill into the workplace. Jedi Mike, you're younger than us. I'm sorry, but it is what it is. That's your gloom and doom. That's all I got.
Yeah.
Oh, I got complete silence. Anybody blood pressure went up? I
was to say this too.
All right, it's just I'm trying to be on mute because there's some people arguing outside, and I just that's real dusty. I'm trying not to. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. I just will say one quick thing is that there's such thing as being set up. I even take the workplace out of it, where it's like you hang around a group of friends, and like you have they say that they're your friends and everything like that, but they have a perception about you, but yeah, you don't know that, and yeah, they just need to take one kickback or party, whatever, and they can record on the side while they getting you drinking everything, but yet they won't record the fact that earlier you're the one passing waters to everybody and making sure everyone was okay. They won't count that. They just have amnesia for that. They won't forget like, hey, I was the one that drove you home when you were drunk. You left your car at the bar, whatever, but I drove you back home. And I also drove you back home to pick up that car. They won't acknowledge that. People have selective amnesia.
Hey, hold on one second. If you drive your coworker and it's the opposite sex, you might want to send a text message. Hey, you were drunk. Did you get home safely? Otherwise, he perved me in a back alley. Text message can cover you. Documentation. Continue, sir.
Right, but and also when he mentioned something very crucial, when he talking about that if you're around a certain environment, people might think you are this certain type of way, and I had to learn this the hard way. It's time to get out of that group. Whether that might be that job, and it doesn't have to be true. It doesn't matter what is true or not, what you can prove. And again, it's like, oh, you might be known as this person, whatever, in this type of group of people, but then if you have self-awareness, if that pattern behavior is consistent everywhere you go, it's you. If it's just in that workplace, they're just trying to do some pin on you. That's it. And so let's just take a level of just self-awareness on that. But I give you up to that. But just be mindful of that, y'all.
Shamir, you're muted.
Oh, sorry. No, I was reading Tasha's comment. She said I thought farming was bad.
It's all workplaces.
Yeah, it is all workplaces. Because people are people. You know what I mean? People are people. And one of the biggest lessons my mom, she was always adamant about, like, when you're at work, you're on your job. All personal stuff, like it's out. It stops as soon as you enter those doors. Like, this is your money. And you playing with it. You know what I mean? Those messy conversations and that gossiping and ooh, that big booty and ooh, he looks so fine and ooh, all that. Yeah, you really gonna let that come? You really gonna let that come between your bag? Like, stop it. Especially as much as people out here talk about they making like $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 plus. You really gonna stop your $100,000 plus bag over some dude at your job when there's plenty more dudes outside of your job? Like, stop it. Like, you really gonna let this one piece of vagina stop your bag when it's a plethora more vagina outside those work doors? Like, stop it. I'm gonna need y'all to get like some priorities. And when you're at work, your bag is your number one priority over all of that. And that should always be in the foresight of your mind. No matter what comes your way, my bag. This happened today, my bag. My supervisor pissed me off. My bag. This chick come over here flirt with me. Damn, she fine, but my bag. Oh, damn, he fine under there, but my bag. That needs to be at the forefront of your mind. You on these phones, if it's not a work-related conversation. I'm talking about your supervisor sending you a message, you send a message back or something like that. Whatever else can wait. Unless it's mama on her deathbed or something. It's like my child in the hospital, I got hurt or something. That's different. But other than that, all this being on Instagram and stuff while you at work and all that, all work hours and you ain't on a lunch break, what you need to think about is my bad. Ooh. Not important. That needs to be at the forefront of your mind. And for so many people, it's not. When you're going in for job interviews, you think about it. Like, what kind of person would you hire? Would you hire somebody to come in there, like, to interview, like, just in a shirt and some jeans and some sneakers? Like, you're not going to take them serious. Like, you seriously want a job? Like, how can I help you? Because you ain't coming here for a job looking like that. But if somebody was coming in clean cut, professional, they're on time, they are ready, they're prepared. Like, yes. You're going to look at somebody like that and be like, yes, that's somebody I want on my team. And another thing, too, it goes back to my bag. How much is this paying? My bag. I'm trying to get to the bag. So what do I need to do to get to it? I need to wear a suit and tie. I need to be fresh cut. I need to have nails done, hair done, everything did, honey. That's what I need to do. That's who I need to present to get this bag. Now, all else outside of that, when you off the clock, all right, that's just what it is. That's the time to be, okay, who said what about me, which really don't need to be worried about that even then, but that's another story. But when you at work, then your number one priority is your bag. Don't ever let nothing or nobody on that job interfere with that.
Are they going to listen, Shamiri? Are they going to listen?
No.
Now, here's the thing. I hope it's not this chat. I got some decent people.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody from a dust panel this week is going to go to work talking about that woman that got hit with a brick. Because let's be real. There's sexual harassment. There's verbal. There's also gender war, which is favoritism. And there's equality. Going to be 3 dudes talking about that girl that got hit with the brick. One of them is going to be a supervisor. 6 months later, he's going to deny a woman from a promotion. And guess what she's going to bring up? That conversation about that break.
Yeah.
Then they check his phone, his Instagram, whatever it is, and he's a red pillar. Then 3 other girls. Well, she liked him and he didn't give her none. Another one, he stole a parking space one day. It's that simple. He's going to have so much hell, he's going to resign as a supervisor. It can be that petty. I didn't make the rules. This is what we're dealing with. The gender war, the red pill, and all that can spill into your job. Trust me, it's coming. I work from home. I ain't got to deal with that. But it's coming. But anyway, we're going to get out of here. We'll do final thoughts. I'm going to start with the youngest and the ugliest person on the panel. That'll be Jedi Mike.
Keep my brother's name out your damn mouth.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm only ugly on the weekends.
The finer woman has spoken. But yeah, I just wanted this was a good conversation and everything. Thank you for having me. Hope I was able to contribute like in a younger perspective, the workplace, now I'm just starting this field. Again, going to the points again, just like if someone just starting, out my age right now, again, especially your reputation is everything, but also your character is your foundation. And unfortunately, just as a tree, might take, forever, take a long time for it to actually grow, but they also have a long lifespan and they go through midst of different seasons, different trials. Regardless of that foundation is still planted, which is your character. So I encourage everybody if you're going into the workplace and everything like that. Also, there's not no end point in terms of I'm reaching this point of perfection. There's always ways to improve. And again, don't also swallow your pride too. The big thing, swallow your pride when you get into this, because you might be saying your own way of your next blessing. So.
And where can we find you at if we're looking for you?
You can find me on my YouTube channel at Jedi Mike 7. I'm a film critic, part of the African American Film Critics Association. I just got in, so I'm also a part of another platform called Team JVS Media Production LLC. So I review movies. I'm also a movie influencer. So follow me on TikTok and all that stuff. I'm slowly trying to grow and learn from shoot stuff, so I can go viral, all that stuff. Yeah, I need to do some characters. I know this is just too priceless not to put on, But yeah.
You tempted me to bring some improv dust back.
I got somehow.
Yeah. Everybody throw anything. All the Brother Network, Black Men Unfiltered is going live in 30 minutes. Throw all whoever part of the network, put all their IGs and channels and everything, throw it in the chat. But salute to you, Jedi. Have a good night. And I'm still gonna keep celebrating that marriage. Make it work.
Thank you.
Right, that's what's up.
Salute, Tamika. Take care of that man.
Right.
Dust him off when needed. Have a good one. Hey. Oh, there we go. Shamiria, what's going on in this workplace? Final thoughts.
So my final thoughts are, I'm just going to reiterate like my last statement. Remember, when you come into your job in the workplace, like all personal matters stop. Your first priority needs to be my bag. This salary I'm getting, this good job I'm getting. Like that needs to be at the forefront of your mind at all times. I know it's at the forefront of mine. I'm not stopping my bag for nobody. Like all the workplace drama and stuff like that. When you keep your bag in the forefront of your mind, all the other stuff becomes very insignificant, especially if you're getting paid a good salary. Like, yeah, you know what? My bag, but my bag, my salary. I need that to hit. I need that direct deposit to hit on time, every time. Okay? So, just always keep that at the forefront of your mind. So, those are my final thoughts. Oh, and shout out to you, Scam Like It Dusto. I'm proud of you for, getting your channel up and running. You've been talking about it for a long time, so you finally do it. I'm proud of you. And shout out to everybody in the chat, all the trolls that came to troll. Y'all are absolutely hilarious.
See what I got to deal with?
Right, exactly. Shout out to the trolls on the panel. Who else? Oh, I wanted to say shout out to Lady Devoa. I saw Sherelle in the chat too. Sherelle, if you still watching, what's going on? Who else? If you want to, you can catch me. I got a YouTube channel. It's Shumeria, SHUMERRIA. That's the same handle for all my social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Shumeria, SHUMERRIA. I also have a show on Black Man Unfiltered Network with my brother Mandrell called Unapologetic with Mandrell and Shoo. It comes on every Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Also, like Dusto said, you should have go over check out Black Man. About 30 minutes or so. They're doing Talk That Talk Tuesday, and keep being fabulous. Always keep a positive spirit, positive attitude, no matter what. And y'all have a good night.
All right, thank you for coming.
No problem.
Have a good night and protect your bag.
Oh, definitely, always. See you later.
See you later. She ain't gonna listen. Trust me, she's not.
And she's not gonna listen.
Nah, she ain't gonna do it. It's gonna be a dude on, and not only that, the dude, she gonna mess up her money, and the dude's gonna be uglier than me.
Oh, okay. I didn't know all that. But anyway,
How these people are.
look,
What you got, JC?
looking good in the suit. You're looking good in the suit. I love that color, and I love the tie you put with it. I wear the shirt, the same color as your tie. That's the color shirt I wear with that suit. But anyway, it looks good. First thing we want to do in the workplace is you see Jedi Mike opening a champagne bottle. Please duck. We can tell he's not used to doing that. I thought a 45 had went off when he did it, but you know, we got to learn. I think a good, just a good thing in the back of your head when you're at the workplace. Try to act like you act when you're at church or you at your spiritual place, mosque, masjid. Just carry yourself with the highest respect you can carry. I was told a long time ago, especially in the workplace, I've been in supervisor position ever since I was like really 18 years old. Most of the jobs I have worked has been in some form of management or supervisor. And one of the things I always told the people who worked under me were, if you learn how to control yourself, you control everybody else around you. Because I know when people first come to work, they first. Okay, but I'm doing a live broadcast now. Just hold on for a minute. So the first thing you want to do is learn how to control yourself, and there's an easy way to do that and find out how that works. Think about it. When you first come onto a job brand new, nobody know how to take you. Everybody's saying hi to you. They're shaking your hand, and they're giving you the highest, most respect. Liking you or not like you. They haven't had enough time to understand who you are, and what you represent. It's only when you start acting foolish that you lose that. If you come to work and take care of your work and carry yourself like you did the first day you went, you're not going to have a lot of mess at your job. It's when you start acting like you in the nightclub, when you start acting like you at your cousin cookout, that's when you go run into the problems. Just carry yourself professional all the time. I'm not telling you to walk around like you got a corn cob stuck up in you. But what I'm telling you is control yourself, and you'll control everybody else around you. Hey, look, man, I'm proud of you. You always coming out with not just topics, but coming out with solutions. I know me and you do a hell of a lot of talking offline more than we do online. I haven't fired up anything. Oh, for the people who's looking for me, don't look for me. I'll find you, okay? So that's just the way I roll. I'll find you. Y'all will find. Y'all see me when I find you. And so keep supporting this channel. And a good way to support this channel is not only just give a thumbs up, but hold on just a minute.
And
not only give this channel a thumbs up, but share it. So a lot of us forget that we can share videos. You got to go over there, hit that share button, and you can put it on other platforms. And we do that every week. Each one of us did that every week. We'll reach 7, 8, 9 people, just the individual. And that's how the channel grow. Because the conversations you're going to be hearing over here, it's going to be a little different the way it's done. It's with solution based. That means we're going to talk about something, and we're going to come up with whatever we think is the best solution in the chat or whoever. Everybody's going to participate over here. No, we know we're going to be trolling. Trolling is not against the law over here. Matter of fact, it's welcome. But we're going to always have solutions. Peace, love, and always strive for the truth, my brother. Thank you again for having me on your platform.
Thank you for all that you do. And subscribe to J Speed's channel for those of y'all who actually want to learn and want to grow. Somebody I do talk to and actually get wisdom. Now, we thump each other's melons quite often because I'm hard-headed, he hard-headed. I'm good-looking, he's ugly. But I learned a lot from that man, just in real life. I'll close with this. Information is here. Information is to be shared. This information, I just don't want to see nobody get fired. If you know somebody younger, older, having some of these problems, they are the harasser, doing the harassing, or they're on the other side of it, share the video. Come check it out. Feel free to put some feedback out there. To the people, make sure you protect yourselves. We put a lot of work into building ourselves up in our jobs, careers, and even businesses. Somebody say, "Hey, I don't work a job." In your business, you can say something and you can be blackballed and you can be shut down. Some of this men versus women, the battle is getting serious. And the media is not going to help. They're going to push out the negativity and feed in. It's going to fester in people's minds. And people are just going to keep hating each other. And it can't affect your pocket or your livelihood at the workplace or off the workplace. Make sure you're not doing the stuff that we just told you not to do. If you have a job, keep your job. If you're a man or a woman, keep your genitals to yourselves in the workplace. Go date somebody 500 meters away from your job. Stay away. All the rumors and the talking, don't be there where those conversations are being had. I've been a supervisor. I've partially worked HR. I've been in this workforce for a long time working with females. It can be a dangerous game, and you don't know who and you don't know when it's coming. Something you might have said, something you might have heard. It might be 3 months later. You didn't say something. Now they're mad 3 months later. They're calling you into the office and having a conversation with you. It can be dirty, but that's how people are. Protect yourselves. Before I close out, I believe next week I might be changing the time because I want to get a couple of other people on. We'll be talking about the interview. Let's be real. Do people know how to interview? Do people know how to network and how to interview from beginning to end? From the time you get in the parking lot, did you go on MapQuest or whatever and find out where that building is? Or are you scrambling at the last minute? Where do I park? Now you're in traffic, you're late. Did you iron your suit the night before? Do you have something to write with? Do you have paper? Do you already have questions ready to answer? Did you research the company? Are you nice to the people in the elevator? You just don't know. We can get into some details, things that work, things that don't work, some common practices. You don't want to miss that one. I'm having some people who've done some interviewing. I've interviewed people before. I can tell you what's being said and what's being asked on that other side of the table. Then share this with other people. You know what? That's all I got for tonight. But anyway, I advise people not to dust, not to crust. I love my trolls and I love the people who come to support. And if you are a content creator and you like some of the topics, feel free to steal them, because some of these conversations really just need to be had. Some of the information just needs to go out there. Talk to your people, as well as give me feedback. If there's something you think I should talk about, or should address on this channel. We're going to be communication-based, solution-based channel. There will be more dust to come. I'm just taking it slow for now. Then we're going to fire up the dust. I might do some debating, some crusting, some improv stuff. We're going to start here with the conversations that need to be had. I could get hit by a truck tomorrow. We don't know. Information is out there. But anyway, thank you all for coming. I'm still struggling with StreamYard. Work with me. Yeah. And we're out.